Hello. Okay, that's better. I'm, I don't know. I don't need new headphones. These are new headphones.
Who said anything about headphones?
I did.
Oh,
I
it
well,
was
one
like
of you
because
said it. I don't know who.
she went into her whole rant about the microphone. It's like, is it on? Is it perfect? Is it this? Is that? I go, probably need headphones. She's like, no. See, basically anything we say is just a rant to him. It's fine,
I know.
you
That's
know.
because he's too lazy to like scroll back.
No,
Wow.
it's fine.
I mean, it's kind
It's
of
too
true.
much for you. I know.
I mean,
I
based off the
mean,
last episode, I think people kind of know why he doesn't read our messages. Probably because he can't really read that well to begin with.
wow.
Just kidding.
Wow. This is how
I
this
I
is
was
how bullying goes, folks, right
oh
here.
God. I was editing that episode and I was like, I'm leaving this all in because
I enjoyed it.
it's comedy gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, Mikey is not me because I would have just cut it all out and probably reset it myself if I had to do
Oh no. It's even better.
it.
Listeners, it's even better on YouTube.
Oh my God. I know,
Yeah,
because
you can see their faces laughing the whole time.
yeah, and don't forget to let Lance know that his squinting is because he needs cheaters and he refuses to accept it. So,
It's fine. It's fine.
I don't open my eyes that wide anyways. It's not like I'm like,
well, oh, be quiet. You're
You
gonna
have
no, because
huge
you're
eyes.
squinting. What are you talking about?
thank
You
you.
squint when you look at the phone because you can't see it.
I didn't say they were nice. I said you have huge eyes.
Just
Oh my God, don't ever do that again. I
Scared me.
cannot.
you'll have to check it
And
out on
Um,
YouTube, guys.
yeah. Well, thanks for bringing the panda and pandemonium, Lance. So,
Hmm.
welcome back, everybody, to our month of labor, where we review movies that are connected to our careers in some way, shape, form, or whatever. Last week, you had Green Room with Lance that dealt with bands and a bar and racism. So, on this,
God, why?
did one of y'all make a joke on the show that it was Professor X?
Oh wow, that was not me.
Okay.
Was
no,
that
I
eight?
It
think that
wasn't
was.
me either.
I wouldn't say that. I feel. Oh, it was probably Doug.
I mean, it was funny. Doug wasn't even on the episode.
Then it
Well,
was you,
because
No.
Mikey, because
what
Lance
it's
isn't that clever.
well, I'm not either. Well, because one of my friends texted me it after we released it, and I was like, "Is he telling me this as a joke, or is he quoting something someone said?" But I didn't remember hearing that. I thought it was funny. But anyways,
Oh, but you know what? That makes sense because
Professor X.
he was Professor X.
Well, that's the joke.
Wow.
Oh,
What did you
Maybe.
think I was? Okay. Anyways,
Hold on. Zing!
yeah.
Roll her back in,
whatever.
folks.
Well, now that eight has caught up. I'm surprised that wasn't Lance. But anyways, on this week's roster, we have the most loved and popular host, me, going over 2020's Pandemonium. Why, you may ask? Well, because it's a film about an ex-stripper trying to change her life by getting into an office job at a local law firm. And why does this connect with me? Because I am also a current stripper that also works in an office. Well, actually, I didn't even know that there were strippers in the movie, and I was like, "Oh, office work." It's what I've done for the past 11 years. And by office work, I mean like working in an office. I'm not like an office worker, if that makes sense. But whatever. I worked in the office for a really long time. And then I was watching it, and I was like, "Oh, they're strippers." I was like, that's funny because sometimes I also do things for
Take.
money.
It's like, go
Uh-huh.
on.
But we're not here to discuss my philanthropies or what have yous, whatever Joe would say from that podcast.
I love you, Joe, again.
But anyways, a movie that is not as classy and top tier is going to be 2020's Pandemonium, directed and written by M.J. Dixon. So, what this film is about is basically Lance and his friends work on the sixth floor of a building. When I first saw
Oh.
him, I was like, "That's Lance," and he kind of has like the same like delivery of lines as you do. Maybe it's because you also played a douchebag in Noelia that I was like, maybe
Yeah,
that's why I see Lance as this guy.
he's
Um,
definitely an inspiration for that part if you think about it.
I know, but basically, it is about a law firm. A new girl shows up. I don't understand her job because this is from London, by the way, everybody, or the UK. I don't know exactly where in Europe, but
Mm.
they're in Europe, so they have accents and they have terms that we don't have here. And they call her maybe a junior associate. I don't know. Aid works at a law firm. She probably knows what they are. Um,
I didn't think this was a law firm though.
Yeah,
I thought it
because
was too,
they
actually.
they
Yeah.
made the mock commercial or the commercial, and there was a law firm with all
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
but it
guys.
was weird because when they were talking about sales.
Yeah, they did say sales because remember he said it's all about the numbers.
I was so confused because,
Maybe they don't
and
even
if
know what they're doing.
that yeah, that's probably one of the many, many things about this film that was interesting, and that's what I'll say. Interesting.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts. But anyways,
Mm.
so we have Ariel. She's a new employee. She's kind of playing like maybe like a office manager or secretary, filing files and stuff. And it seems like it's like a 8-story building, and so they keep talking about the sixth floor employees, and it's these I think five guys who like are all really douchey, and they're the ones that have the biggest clients, and they are mostly attractive, except there's one old guy, and of course that's the one we see naked. Gross. Um,
Yes.
oh yeah, also interesting connection when I was watching this. There's a lot of sexism and misogyny, and I've worked in the IT field for the past 10 years, and there is a lot of sexism and misogyny in the IT field. So I could definitely, I mean, of course, it's not as overt as what they show in this movie. This movie kind of handles it in a campy way. But I was like, yeah, that is really awkward. So she's the next stripper going into the office, and the guys on the sixth floor decide to have a little party to celebrate something, and they bring over strippers. Meanwhile, there's a killer dressed as a panda for I don't know why, who is killing strippers. And I don't think they mentioned it in the movie, but in Tubi, the summary, not Tubi, Prime, the summary said he was called the Stripper Ripper, which I was like, that's kind of a cool name, but they don't use it in the movie, so I don't know where that came from.
Mhm.
Um,
It's so horrible. It's so great, but horrible.
I mean, it's punny. Yes. So the top characters we're probably going to be discussing is going to be Ariel, who's the main character. We have Jasmine, who she's kind of like the ringleader of the dancers, the 4 or 5 dancers that come after work for the party. We have
Mhm.
Damien, who's basically Lance, but he's like the douche bro. And then we have Daniel, who's the new member of the sixth floor.
Wait, is his last name Daniel too?
His name is Daniel something, and when he's introducing himself to the Damien character, he's like Daniel. He's like, "Oh, Daniel what?" He's like Daniel, and he goes, "Daniel, nice to meet you." So he calls him Daniel the whole time. Um,
Yeah.
but this is not a serious movie. If you look at the poster behind me, it's very much like I know y'all haven't seen Gutterballs, but it gives me a little bit of Gutterball vibes, real campy slasher. Like it's not really trying to be scary, it's trying to be comedic, campy with hot girls. But the interesting thing that sticks out about this movie is the choice that they made for this killer.
Hmm.
What do you guys think about the killer?
I thought it was hilarious. I mean, he looks like something you would see from Fortnite, basically. I mean, honestly,
He really
it's
does.
and it looks like an androgynous panda head, which
As
because
opposed to a
it's
female panda head.
no like I mean just like it hasn't eaten well. Like it's just
Oh
like
my God.
Oh,
Wait. Lance, what does androgynous mean to you?
androgynous. Oh, well, yeah, I meant dehydrated. I'm sorry. You know what I mean. God.
No, I don't know what you mean.
Not androgynous. Sorry.
Emaciated?
Yeah,
yeah, I think he
emaciated.
means emaciated.
I was like, wait. What does a female panda
I
look
mean,
like?
I guess it looks androgynous. I don't know. There were times when he was speaking that he sort of mimicked Chucky's voice. Brad Dourif, it kind of sounded like a little bit. So I was like, what are we trying to do here? But the face itself, I think, is interesting. I don't know. I think I was expecting something else out of it. I don't know what it is, but I do like the mask. I will say that the mask is pretty cool, especially like when you get close, like the way the eyes are inset.
Yeah.
How the skull, it's more like a skull, not really a panda face. And then the ears kind of like Mickey. So to me, he looked more like Mickey than he did a panda. Maybe it's
Yeah.
me.
No, I got that also, and I think it mainly is because of the ears. But when I was watching it, and even though it's not great, everybody like the acting is questionable. It's like really the guys do okay. The girls are not good except for Ariel, which they saved the best actress for the main character. They're off and on. Like the girl who plays Jasmine is okay sometimes, but the other girls, oof, I was actually wondering if maybe they just got strippers to do it for free. The whole thing, it is, what does this filmmaker think of strippers? What do they think of? Because they also are sex workers as well, depending if the price is right, which, work.
Hmm.
And he makes it a point to also have lines in there, like, the reason why the girl gets the new office job is because her daughter found out, because their friends were making fun of her. And she was like,
Mm.
and while I am not ashamed of who I am, I don't want to embarrass her, which is why I switched jobs. I'm like, okay, cool. So like
Hmm.
the movie is not like mean-spirited towards strippers or anything like that. It's just silly, but it is a movie made by a man for men. And I realize that when they're coming down the hallway with their little, what is it called? Your when they have those scenes where you're changing in the changing room and it's like a
A
switcher.
montage.
Yeah, there you go, the stripper montage.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's for horny boys, but it never really gives you any payoff because there's no boobs, which
Did
is
you
fine.
think though? Did you think though? I mean, because I also at the same time you could look at it too as he's making a satire towards those kind of like lawyer type people. You know what I mean? Like how they're all douchey, they make money, they think anything can be bought. So I mean, at some point, he is kind of the commentary for that would be more of a like, hey, this is how these people think. This is
Yeah.
how people view these people, being the strippers, and everybody has a spectrum of what their role to play and whatever thing they got. Where I think that's where the Daniel guy is there for, because it shows not everybody who's a lawyer is a piece of shit like those guys. And then how the one main stripper girl, where she even tells that one girl, and she's like, when that girl goes, hey, do we have to have sex with these guys? And she's like, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Your body's your body. And she makes that very like clear. And then it's like, then she ends up letting the old spoiler, letting the old man get back at her in the bathroom for the right price, I guess. You know what I mean? But like, she was like, hey, you make those decisions. You want to do that, you want to do that, or you don't want to do that. That's up to you. And then it's like later on when she says something to Ariel about how like you left your friends,
Mhm.
this isn't this like, you're not just a stripper, quote unquote. You love your friends to do this for other people who belittle you, but in a different way, because it's regularly okay for people to see that. You know what I mean? Like in an industry where, oh, it's fine if you can make fun of somebody in that way, but
But
if
wear
they
a
were doing
tie at the
this,
same time.
yeah, exactly. And I thought those certain things, if you really wanted to get deep into it, as Aid likes to do in most of the movies we do, see the inner thought process to it. But I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, the campiness. I mean, a lot of like one-liners. You know what I mean? Every it seemed like
Yeah.
every kill had to get like a Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone kind of 90s/80s montage joke.
Well, I'm glad you bring it up actually, because I did note that. Um, because regardless of how cheesy the movie is, anything like that, I ultimately did like it because right now we have a weird array of movies coming out and they're all trying to be the next best thing. Sometimes I don't want to watch the next best thing. I just want to watch a slasher movie. I
Yeah.
just want to, and like literally, you could sit there, check your phone once in a while, and you'll still know what's going on. Like, not because you're bored, but because we have a very short attention span. And this movie really scratched that itch for me. The reason why I chose it, even though there's other movies that are way superior that involve offices like Mayhem and the Belko Experiment, I've seen those. I don't want to watch those. I want to have
Mm.
fun. I want to turn my brain off. I want to watch something, kind of sleazy, but like in a good way. I don't want to hate myself at the end of it. And so that is what they did. And if this movie actually wanted to be a lot better than it was, which I'm not, this to me was not a bad movie. People may disagree, but this was not a bad movie to me. But to make it better, I wish that they would have explored more of the, I don't think they should have explored more of the sexism or misogyny because you got enough of it to
A
get the
lot of
idea. Yeah. And and we're talking about like career month, basically, like shit like that's happened in front of me. The guy doesn't realize what they're doing, and it's very weird. There was an event at work where they had to like kill time and they had like a presenter on stage. Not where I work now, everybody. Don't go doxing me. And so this was a while ago. And to fill time, the speaker thought he was going to be funny and be like, he looked at the only woman on the stage and was like, "Your shoes are really nice. Do a little walk for us." And it reminded me of when the guy was like, "Can you give us a little spin?" And the woman was visibly uncomfortable when that happened. And so like shit like that happens. Maybe not so much upfront or in your face about it, but it's kind of like male privilege to not know when you're making someone feel objectified because, we wear suits and ties. We don't wear anything that shows our shoulders or our calves or whatever. Um, but other than that, I wanted them to also go further into like, hey, you left the stripper world to go to this shitty office world, but like those girls were also like your sisters. And I was excited that I thought Jasmine was gonna make it to the, oh, she did actually. Spoiler alert. But
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I
I was like,
thought,
oh.
well, because but they don't fight, they don't really argue, they don't have much time together, but when they do see, something's going on, but it's not anything bad, like they hate each other. It's just kind of like,
I
this
always thought
is,
it was that mom daughter kind of vibe, like she's the older, wiser person in that situation. She's been there, done that. Not as she's actually older. I mean, she probably is, but I mean, like, but it came off more like she's like, hey, listen, you're gonna
yeah,
keep looking for these things, and you might as well do what you like to do and make the money that you want to make, and be able to do other things in your life you want to do. Than always worrying about what other fucking people think. But I mean, like you said, I mean, and where you get a little bit about how the reason she's there is because of the daughter. Because like I mean, at one point you're like, oh, she has a kid.
yeah, yeah,
Well, but that was another thing that was like a kind of a hole in the plot, right? Because who's watching the kid if she's at work all night? Why are they at work all night? What is going? Why does her foundation not match her neck? Like, there's just so many questions I
the real
have.
question.
And the minute that he objectified her in her interview was when she should have been like, "This is not the place for me," because I feel like if he's going to show, and I get it, it's a movie, we're not supposed to take it that seriously, but I mean, and then I'm like, in the UK, are they okay with sexual harassment? Are they okay with, because, I work at, obviously, I'm a teacher, I work in a school. And, there's only been probably in the 10 plus years I've been a teacher, one instant where I felt that there was a creep that I worked with. And I went and I reported him. And he was harassing so many women at some point, and so many people had made a statement on him that eventually he did get fired. So, I feel like because I'm in a setting with children that, I mean, obviously there's creeps and there's disgusting people everywhere. It's just not very prevalent for me. And then before that, I worked in a law firm with women only.
Yeah.
So I never really had, that the only time I guess sexual harassment was a thing was like when I was like in high school and I was working at Duffy's and like all the older guys would hit on me and stuff and like,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Did you guys think it was counterproductive in the sense that like they give the main dancer like kind of the lines where like you can use it, do whatever you want, it's your body, whatever, whatever. And then it was like the one girl ends up blowing the one guy, you know, and then she ends up letting the other guy sleep with her and something like that. And it was like one of those things where I'm always in those situations where like you have people who do that, but it feels so counterproductive when you're like, no, strippers don't do that. We're not prostitutes. We don't, do that. But then here they are later on, or at least two of them. You know what I mean?
Well,
Just do whatever. It's like you're like, oh, I get it because it is your own body. You choose to do that. You can choose to do that. But then at the same time, it's like then you kind of make it look bad on other strippers who don't do that. You know what I mean? I thought that was one of the spots where I was kind of like, it's like you had a kind of cool message and it was kind of there, but then at the same time you're like, well, fuck it, $500 is $500. It's like,
I
which
mean,
I get.
they never said that they didn't do it. They were very clear that basically your body is your business. If you want to do it, it's
Yeah, yeah,
fine. If
yeah.
you don't want
Yeah.
to do it, that's fine. So when they were doing it, the important part was that they agreed to do it. They're not being
Yeah.
forced or coerced or anything. And it's unfortunately, we have a really weird country that likes to make things illegal that don't matter, like prostitution or sex work. And you can't really say I'm a sex worker. I mean, I think you can in Las Vegas, but like you can't be a sex worker. You have to have like a cover, and the cover is being an exotic dancer. And so, like, I don't
Yeah.
think
Or an escort. Escorts do that as
escorts,
well.
yeah,
I mean,
and
not all of them, but the majority of them will do that.
Call
So,
girls, whatnots.
yeah,
not call girls, escort.
that's how long ago it was that Lance called
Well,
one.
yeah, I know.
So they called them call girls back
That's
Way
then.
back in the day, I like to call them call girls. Ah,
One of
see?
them
yeah,
woman of the
that
night. Um,
was
but ultimately, no, I don't think it's regressive because I don't think that being a sex worker is bad. So if a stripper says
Yeah,
that
same.
they're not a sex worker, I'm like, that's cool. But also if they do it, I'm like, okay, cool. Like,
yeah.
be
Yeah.
safe. So the power is in their hands. And so at the very end, Jasmine lives. Good for her. I'll wait for the sequel. And I can't like I keep getting thrown off reading the year because it's not that old, but it kind of looks old. Just it's low budget. And so like it kind of gives it like an early 2000s look, like straight to video type look.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Mm.
but I enjoyed it. What are your final thoughts on the film? And don't let me sway you any which way. Hate on it, Aid, because I know.
Well,
She's just
I
dying.
mean,
This is
I was
gonna be
dying.
a 15-minute.
I'm not, no, I just, a lot of these indie films I can get through, but this one, it didn't pick up until the end, but the decisions they made, and I get it was all budget, like the fact that they went out of their way to make not one but two post-credit scenes, and one just to announce to the world that the stripper ripper is back and the same
Mhm.
guy's gonna play him. Which I found, hilarious. I was a little disappointed. I thought at least, at the very least, the shitty, as shitty as the writing and much of the acting is, and just, the comedy fell flat for me, which obviously I guess it's UK, whatever. Um, at the very least, I thought the gore could be, amped up
Mm,
a little bit.
no,
There,
not at
I
all.
can't think of any scene that stuck out to me really. That even the fake penis looked like
It
a
was
melted
flat.
O. Henry bar. Yeah, the last part was funny, where she said, "You have a fucking panda problem," and they all turn around. They're like, "What
Yeah.
panda?"
Yeah.
Like that was probably the only time I kind of like chuckled to myself, but that's about it. So no, will I watch it again? No.
Yes. Yes. October 12th, we're renting a theater. Um, uh, MJ Dixon, friend of the show, we will be inviting you to this premiere. Um, I know I'll 100% agree with you for a horror movie and a slasher movie. The kills very lackluster.
Hmm.
Uh, very not memorable.
Yeah, you think most times when you see stuff like this, it like if it's gonna be campy like this, at least the murder kill scenes are usually a little bit more like, oh my gosh, okay, cool. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Or just over the board, like blood everywhere. I don't know, maybe because they got this office, they maybe weren't allowed to like go to town with the blood or something like that. Or, like, because even when like you see she's like, oh yeah, the panda part, and she turns around. There's not even blood on the ground. You know what I mean? Like he just got stabbed. I mean, like there's no blood anywhere half the time, and I'm thinking to myself like, dude, if you're gonna give me campy, fine, I'm totally into that. If you're gonna give me bad to some degree, yeah, totally into that. But you're gonna not even give me blood, like
Yeah,
I
there
gotta have
actually
something.
wasn't a lot of blood at all. Like, because even the face stabs, they were like quick and, but yeah,
Yeah.
it actually is a little unforgivable, and I say it's a big sin. So it actually takes 1.5 stars off of the original rating because let me tell you why. Your little fight choreographed scene you did between
Slow
Homegirl
motion.
and it was cheesy as fuck, but it was stylized. So you had the resources to do it, to
Yeah,
do some
yeah,
sort of struggle,
really
kill, whatever.
murder
It
scene.
was it was cheesy, but it was good, question mark.
Yeah,
But it
yeah,
like I was like, you have the because it was cheesy because we all know that wouldn't happen in real life. But also visually it was good enough to be like if you would have changed some things and made it into a kill and like used another character for something similar, they would have been you probably would have had a better star
yeah.
rating from me about having decent kills. So,
Mm.
Mr. Dixon. Yeah, but interesting fact. There might be background to this killer that we don't know about because we haven't seen these
Mm.
movies, but from the same creators and even the same actor who plays the killer, um, there's a film called Slasher House 2 and Slasher House 3 where he plays a killer called Jacob Jakushi. And in Pandemonium, he's credited as playing the killer, Jacob Jakushi. So I don't know if this killer is also in these other movies that
Oh,
maybe there's a slight connection, maybe there's background there. But I'll have
Mm.
you know, straight up the press,
nice.
pre-production for Pandemonium Incorporated has just begun.
Oh, for a
Oh
two.
my goodness.
Here we go. Oh, and it has Jasmine in it again. And
Ariel.
and and
Ariel?
I'm trying. I know what her name is. I'm trying to make sure. Yeah, it's Ariel. I had to look at to see what character it was because she doesn't have.
Oriana. I think her name's like Oriana or
Yeah,
something.
Oreo
Yeah.
Charles. So the current summary is there exists an underground corporation with which one can hire a serial killer to do their dirty work, but these psychos for hire are about to meet their match. Let's go, Jasmine and Ariel. Actually, two of my favorite princesses. Let's go kill some psychopaths. So,
Oh,
sign
so
me
they're
up.
on the hunt. That's kind of cool. That flips it around nice.
Yeah,
I
that's what
mean,
I like about that. Like, I like that. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Are they gonna show the stab wounds in her boobs?
Oh, I know. So
Oh my God.
That's
That's
the only
even
reason she
better.
lived.
cost me 20 quid.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
It was like that's the only reason she
20,000.
lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God bless implants. But anywho, that brings us to the conclusion of today's episode, everybody. I think you should give it a watch if you like cheesy early 2000s slasher movies. This might be right up your alley. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. And it's Pandemonium, panda like the bear, not how you actually spell pandemonium. I can't even say it.